of a convo and some inspirational words, certainly to get his team onto the field. But one will feel with the small outfield that we have here today, that it's a target that is achievable.
Totally, it is achievable, and I'm sure the Windwards will fancy themselves getting up to 180, as we see umpires Butler and Byam making their way out to the middle. And very soon we're going to see the opening pair for the Windward Island Volcanoes, who are going to come out to do battle. First game, 196. Melius.
Well, the two openers are making their way into the middle. Captain Melius, along with, forget that, you in a bit. So yes, Charles, I was saying the two teams are out into the middle. Windward Island Volcanoes now preparing to respond to the 179, chasing a target of 180. And I believe it's Captain Melius out there. We'll try to get the player who has that number 45 on his shirt for the Windward Islands. Meantime, Nepal, they're in the middle. And looks as if it's going to be Bohara to get things going from the southern end here at the Park Hill playing field. So Melius and Ogis.
Melius and Ogis.
Right.
Akim Ogis.
The two openers for the Windward Islands Volcanoes as Bohara. That number 10 shirt just picking up that white ball and making sure that his mark is fully in place. And will soon break into his stride to bowl this the first delivery of the Windward Islands response, chasing a target of 180. And doesn't seem as if he's quite ready. It's just one or two little adjustments being made. Captain Padel is close by, not on screen, but pretty much close by in a mid-off position.
It looked like Sampal who is going to pick it up from this other end.
So race is in. And this one is played down into that shot. Well, more or less in a gully position almost, and no run off the bat. So the Windward Islands yet to get off the mark. So there you see Nepal 179 for 9, and the Volcanoes chasing a target of 180. This delivery, Wellness walks it off his pads, and player there in that short mid-good position slipped in the process and giving away 2 runs and some scrappy work in the field by Nepal.
Very scrappy work very early in the innings, and easy what should have been an easy single. He gave away that extra run. So Melius is off the mark. That would do his confidence a world of good, and no batter likes to be a knot. And he would have to lead from the front for the Windward Island Volcanoes, try to get up to 180.
So back at the top of his run, and now turns. Race is in. And this one outside the off stump and cracked down to that third man position, but the third man well in place, well in behind it. And
Ogis comes in to strike for the very first time. So there's a left-hand, right-hand combination here for Windward Island Volcanoes, and this could be a little problematic sometimes for some bowlers. because you do have to change your line to the left and right hand combination, and if you're not really on top of your game, you can find yourself under some pressure.
So Ogis settles. And ball that is worked into the onside. And again, you see that misfield, Captain Padel this time around. And that is something that the Nepalese team will certainly need to work on, and work on very quickly if they would want to restrict the Windward Islands from achieving that target.
Well, I think that single was a bit risky. Had he picked it up cleanly, I think Ogis could have found himself in some trouble. But in the end, he got in very safely, because not seeing the Nepalese picking up the ball, I think they're creating the Cardinals enough taking their eye off the ball at the last minute.
This one, Melius plays it neatly off his pass to that deep square-leg position. And just one more added to the total. Hydro coming in, but the wicketkeeper looking quite athletic, plucking it out of the air, goalkeeper style. And just one more added. It's 5 now for the loss of no wicket in this, the first over being bowled by Sampal. Where the Volcanoes chasing a target of 180. And of course, Captain Rohit Paudel leading from the front for the Nepalese. Sampal, what should be the final delivery of this first over, down the leg side, and this is a wide. And they take a run in the process, so that's 2 more added to the total. And the delivery certainly that has to be rebowled. Wide now being signaled there. So 7 without loss. And Sampal, fairly good first over, keeping the batsmen in check apart from that wide delivery just a while ago. And this time we'll be bowling to Melius. Outside the off stump and driven square. Good piece of work there by, looks like Irie. And no run taken. That's the end of the first over. 7 from the first, and fairly good start there from Nepal.
Yeah, I think a pretty good start indeed. But Melius would just have to just look to place the ball a little better. I think he was looking to hit it too hard, and in the end hitting it straight to a fielders rather than just delaying the shot a bit and looking for the gap. Had opportunities to do a bit of scoring, but that's how it is.
Well, it was outside the off stump and it sat up, got back to ball, but as you said, really and truly should have looked to go on between that point and the gully field, or even a little bit more to the right of the point there. And no run resulting. But we're going to have the second over of this 20 as a nice breeze continue to flow into our commentary position. And picking up the attack, looks like, is it Prakash? Comes in now to bowl to Agis, and one that he works into the onside, mid on in position, not a problem.
Ogis had been timing the ball well. He'd been striking it very well, but hitting it thus far straight to the fielder.
And that's the wind doing a bit there with the bail. Batsman immediately realizing it, had to pull out. So practice it is from the hills here at Park Hill. Races past umpire Butler. This wasn't driven. Again, well driven, but finding the fielder in that short, well, mid-off position.
Well, again, we see the fielder not picking it up. It was hit very firmly indeed, and Ogis was still looking for that single. And again, it was Captain Padel, and the guilty offender.
Well, again, it's an area that's Nepal, as they prepare for World Cup 2024, T20 World Cup, that they'll need to certainly work on. In this game, One run can determine the difference between winning and losing. And if you give them away in the field, they certainly will pay in the end. As there's Captain Melius as Pratis now comes in. And down the leg side, that should have taken something because there's no signal there from the umpire.
Maybe brushing the pad on its way through.
So
the keeper standing up, and good take down the leg side. Remove the bail, but the batter foot was grounded.
Well, we've seen three deliveries thus far in this over, just one run. And Melius and August will probably want to get things going. Outside the off, nice flowing off drive, square the wicket. Oh, lovely runs into the backward point fence, shallow.
That was sweet. The sound off the bat, the placement, it's about everything about that shot was perfect. And Melius really showing his class.
So, boundary there to the Windward Islands Volcanoes skipper, Kimano Melius, quite a young cricketer. And it's good to see him being given the opportunity to lead at this level as a practice. So, coming once again. And down the leg side is a loud appeal.
Well, umpire says not out, but I was looking at that back leg. I was very close to the line. Let's see. Down the leg side. Okay. So very, I think he might have been lucky there. Just had a little bit behind that line, and umpire Afran by in perfect position. He said not out, and Melius lives to fight on. Again, that's into the pads, and a single. Airy coming through, not picking up. Again, that single. A leg by signal by umpire Butler. The over comes to an end, so it's after 2 overs, 12 without loss. And Melius might have find himself a bit lucky.
Very much so, Charlo. But at 12 after the first 2, just 6 runs per over. Sort of a mild start, if you can put it like that, from the 2 openers here from the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And they will certainly want to get the pace on. You don't want to have a situation later on down where you have a required run rate of 12 and 13 and 14 plus. Yes, of course, we know that there's some big hitters to come for the Windward Islands Volcanoes, but that start is so very much important in terms of immediately putting the opposition on that back foot.
Definitely, and they would want to, these two would want to do that. Both St. Lucians, they should know each other well, and we'd really want to put a good start on the cards for the Windwards so that the others can build on.
Sampal this time to bowl to Melius, and he's back in defense, just pushing it back up along the pitch. And no run resulting, 13 for no loss in this over number 3. So the ICC trophy, of course, here in St. Vincent and Grenadines arrived yesterday at the Argyle International Airport. Today was on the windward side of the island.
Well, in fact, prior to the start of the game, they had passed through for viewing and so they were on the field for a while.
Worked through the mid-wicket area, and it's going to get close to that fence. Let's see if the fielder can pick it up. No, he can't. So that's 4 well-taken runs there by Melius, well-timed.
Yeah, I think you do get value for your shots here at Park Hill. That was sweetly timed, and it raced over the outfield. 2 fielders trying to converge, but it went between both of them and across the ropes and into the fence for 4. That's the second boundary for Melius. So he would want to continue the good works for the Windward Islands.
So Sampal back to the top of his mark. And some 12 runs off his overs just so hard. This one, and there was Melius looking to come down, but this one was dug in even shorter, and it jumped at him, giving him absolutely no chance. And good work there by Sampal.
Yeah, good thinking on the part of Sampal. Saw him moving, and he banged it in a bit short. Good bounce, good carry, and Melius had to watch it go by and taken cleanly by the keeper standing back. So good carry for the keeper. Surface had been very, very true. And the bounce, the pace, and certainly is the sort of surface that you can play through the line. And once he's up in the slot, Melius, I'm sure, will go with it.
This one is down the leg side and will be signaled wide. It is signaled wide. And one more to the total, 18 now for no loss in this, the third over. I believe 2.3 deliveries thus far. And Sampal
losing his radar.
Yes.
A bit.
I'm talking about losing the radar. We've lost a bit of the sunshine, but certainly that has not affected conditions here at Park Hill, as Sampal with that number 10 on his back outside the off stump and taking the pace off of that one, Sampal. And Melius was somewhat seemed to be caught in two minds there. He eventually just poked at it and pushed it calmly into the offside.
Well, he certainly was deceived by a well-bowled slow delivery there by Sampal. And Melius looked to tap it into the offside on the bounce to the keeper, who didn't collect it cleanly, but there's still no run.
So here comes Sampal. Outside the off stump and Riven Square. That's 4 well taken runs, but I believe Irie felt he should have done a little bit better there.
He definitely should have done better. Yeah, he would be disappointed. So too with Sampal. I think he was looking at the bounce, didn't get the body behind it, and it went past him and into the fence.
So 4 more runs to the total, 22 without loss. And we are just about 1 more delivery remaining in this, the third over. As right arm over the wicket. And again, oh, that was well placed. Down to third man there from Melius, showing his class.
Definitely, I think that's the shot of the morning. He waited on it and he placed it. Rather than looking for power, he looked for placement. And it was really a gem.
So 26 after the first 3 overs, going at 8 runs per over. And these two at the wicket, especially Captain Melius, who's on 20, they're now stepping up the scoring rate here for the Windward Islands as they chase the target of 180.
I recall Melius at the under-19 level at Cumberland and played a blistering innings of 100. I think it was against Jamaica. He really took the bowlers to all parts of the ground. And you saw that talent in the young man. And here he is at the Windwards level, regional level, and really now proving his worth.
Well, we're going to be having some spin from the northern end, and replacing Pratis will be Rajbansi. Hope my pronunciation is correct. Will be coming into bowl to Ogis, and slow left arm over the wicket. So left arm off spinner. Comes in now to bowl to Ogis. And who's beaten outside the off stump and had his foot grounded. But the wicketkeeper didn't take it, so any possible stumping went through the window as far as that is concerned. So August looking quite tentative there. And Lalit Rajbasi comes in now. This one he tucks nicely off the hip onto that short fine leg position and gets off to another run. 3 now to his total, and 27 the score for the Windward Islands in the 4th over.
So there's rotation of the strike, the right hand, left hand combination, and Lalit will have to now bowl to the right hander. Let's see how he will, what sort of line he will have. Previous delivery to the left hander was on the body. That would be a good delivery for the right hander.
So Captain Melius settles on weight. And this one he hikes high, hard. That's going to go all the way over long off. That's 6 runs. And well taken shot there by Melius. He was to the pitch of it very quickly indeed. and went through with the shot. Long over, long off, Jallo.
Well, he's showing his class, he's showing his intent. And I was tossed up and he lifted it over long off, who had some interest in it, but in the end, just watched it sailed over his head and over the ropes for 6.
So, Menace is on to 26 as Lalit comes in. This time he just pushes it into the offside very quietly. Fielder comes around, picks up. Total remains on 33 without loss. The Winning Islands Volcanoes. It's been a measured start, but of course, Melius has been aggressive at times. And wrapped on the bad pad, going back there, and not out says umpire. Loud appeal.
Seems to be going down the leg. Butler, experienced umpire.
Former West Indies
player.
Yes.
Left arm fast medium bowler.
Lalit. This time punches into that point position. Fielder is there to cover. That's the end of over number 4. And at the end of it, it is 33 without loss. The Winning Islands going at just over 8 runs per over. And in this, the early overs, not a bad
start. And I think that in this over, Lalit, who had been struck for 6, but I think he came back very good in the end. Really tightened it up and not giving Melius that opportunity to lift him over the top. Most of the deliveries after that had to be played off the back foot.
Yes. So let's see how things are going to continue. We had Sampal who started, but spin now being introduced from this to the southern end. So Captain Rohit Padal looking to slow things down. Looks as if it's
like Airy. Yes.
Napindra Singh Airy coming out of Old Ogis, and Ogis gets one wide outside the off stump. That's very wide indeed. And Airy not off to the kind of start that Captain Padel would like to see. Tucks away at his sleeves, and are now coming to bowl once again. And that was short outside the off stump wide, and August should have really and truly done better with that one.
Well, he hit it straight to backward point.
So 34 without loss in this, the 4th over. After deliveries already bowled in this one, as Irie comes into Ogis, and Ogis, well, that was uppishly, and again, we see the not good feeling there from the Nepalese fielder.
Certainly, I think this an area that they'll have to work on going into the World Cup. They will have to do quite a bit of work in terms of their fielding, because we have seen so many lapses already, and you cannot afford to do that when you're playing against international teams.
They will hurt you, and hurt you badly as far as that is concerned. Nepal would have taken the number 2 spot coming out of Asia. This one is swung high, over, long on, into the bushes. As a matter of fact, it strikes the concrete structure just above the ground.
Rebounded into the bushes. And it was very hard indeed. But I was going to make the point, very interestingly, because Airy has not tried to bowl this slow it up, flight the ball. He has pushed every delivery through, and they are actually playing him as a medium pacer, which makes life much easier for the batters.
So true. Much more easier, Charlo. 41 without loss, and this the 5th over. And Melius settles Airy. Had a good innings in the first game, scored 50 plus. That would have carried the Nepalese team home, but this one is now driven into the offside, and playing that short extra cover position, comes around, picked up. Total remains on 41 without loss. Outside the off stump, and it was full pitched there from Airy.
I think Melius was looking at the umpire, hoping that it would be a wide.
Comes in once again. This one cracked, and 1-2 bounces into the long off area, and that's 4 well taken runs there from Melius.
So Melius continued to show his intent, and he's been striking the ball very well indeed. Airy not flighting the delivery, pushing them through, and Melius likes it as it comes onto the bat very nicely. And he's capitalizing on every opportunity he gets.
So after 5 overs, 45 for no wicket, and 9 runs exactly per over, the run rate for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And very good start indeed from this opening pair, Captain Kamano Melius. He's on 36 not out and just 4 from the bat of Auguste. Of course, the bunch of the strike being taken up by Melius.
Well, definitely, and we see Lalit has been pulled out of the attack, and it looked like Practice who comes back into the attack. He had 1 over, so he's coming back into the attack, and it's Auguste who is really a spectator, who was a spectator now taking strike.
Take some strike. Here comes Practice down to Auguste, and this one wraps him on the pad. He was looking to pull it somewhere over backward square leg, but didn't get it back onto ball.
I don't think it was short enough for that kind of a shot. It would have been advisable to tuck it on the onside and pick up the ones. But he was looking to go over square leg and really missed it, taking on the body.
Well, it's one of the dangers being a spectator at the other end. You sometimes do get a little raggedy, and we saw that there from Auguste. Let's see what happens this time around. Gets bat onto the ball as he hoiks this one over long on, and got to get pretty close to the boundary. Picked up there now. They take 2 in the process as a throw comes in, and 2 more to the bat of Auguste. He's now on to 6. The Volcanoes, they're 47 without loss in this the 6th over. So nice little decent crowd here at Park Hill, and on Saturday we expect a huge turnout as Practice comes in now. And that one was almost a baseball type shot,
and he gone all the way.
All the way.
So the 50 comes up.
53 without loss.
5.3 overs.
Good going by on the part of the Windward Island Volcanoes, and that one was hit with some sort of despair. Just walked into it and slapped it.
There it is.
There you go.
Slapped it over long off.
So 53 without loss as Rohit just having a brief 4 day with Practice, Captain Rohit Padel, and Practice will now come in now to Auguste. And this one he drives straight to mid-off. Padel.
Sweet songed off the bat.
Yes, and it's good to see Padel sticking the ball without any bump.
Yeah, straight to the mid-off fielder, but that was it, struck very firmly.
Yeah, lovely drive indeed there off the bat of Auguste. But unfortunately, he could only find the fielder at mid-off, and Captain Rohit Padel.
I think 2 or 3 meters to the left or right, that would have gone to the fence.
Certainly. There's Practice. And this one he pulls over mid-wicket. That is going to go out to the ground. It is into the banana field below. 6 well-taken runs.
But that was disdainfully hit. He just picked it up as if he was taking
food from
candy
a baby.
from a baby and just dispatched it over mid-wicket.
So Auguste now getting into the run feast here. Of course, Captain Melius on 36, and there you see that pull way over mid-wicket. And 6 more runs to the total here for the Windward Islands, 59 without loss.
Perhaps he's saying to his captain, you can do it, I can do it better. And really, that was a disdainful shot.
Without a doubt. So just 1 ball remaining in this, the 6th over. And they're just, well, they're over 10 runs per over at this point in time. The Windward Islands Volcanoes, as we await the return of the ball. Both batsmen there on screen are looking into the area, that mid-wicket area, where the ball went over. I'm yet to see any thing being done by the reserve umpire. So
well, I think umpire Byam is down at the boundary edge looking over the wall. I'm not too sure. Perhaps there are some youngsters on that side going to retrieve the ball, and he's looking because we have not seen the third umpire as yet.
So
going out with any replacement. But certainly what we have seen so far from the 2 games, Eddie, is that the faster bowlers seem to get hit about rather easily because the bounce is true. The ball comes on very nicely.
Certainly.
And batters are comfortable playing through the line.
Well,
so I think the ball has been returned.
Yes, it is. And the rest of the umpire making his way back into the middle. In the background, one of those lovely little houses here at Park Hill. A nice community indeed, and a sporting community.
Very much so.
Close to South Rivers, another community that loves their cricket, that have produced former West Indies fast bowler Cameron Coffey.
Definitely. Quite a few players coming out from the South Rivers. Butler, who played for the West Indies as well. South Rivers chap. Lyndon James, who played for the Windwards. We have seen him at Stanford.
Yes.
South Rivers as well. So there are a few names that you can look around and can speak of.
Well, Ogis is about to resume his innings as the ball has been returned, and here comes practice now. And this one off the edge, it will look like a bit of edge onto that one, down to that short third man position. That's the end of the sixth over. At the end of it, 59 for no loss. The Windward Islands are chasing 180 for victory, just under 10 runs per over.
Just under 10 runs and over, and I think a pretty good start by the Windwards, putting the pressure, early pressure on Nepal, and they would have to do some work. We see Melius just signaling to the pavilion. Perhaps he's going to done away with his helmet, and it's going to be Lalit who is going to pick it up from the southern end. So it's going to be spin, and Melius, he's comfortable. He decides, I'm going to done with the helmet, and I'm going to see how I can take charge. He's on 36, Ogis on 18, and really a good opening partnership, coming 50 coming in 5.3 overs.
Well, it was a little slow for the openers, especially in the first 2 overs, but since that third over, they've really taken to the attack of Nepal, and hence, of course, scoring at just about 10 runs over in the first 6. So Lalit being switched from the northern to the southern end as the breeze blows across the outfield, and this one spoons off the face of the bat, not immediately the pitch of it, but nonetheless fell into a harmless zone there for Melius. He got a single in the process, Charlo.
Definitely a good delivery. Spinning across him is the left arm spinner, getting that one to go across the right hander. I think he was looking to tuck it on the onside, got a leading edge.
So Lalit it is to continue. This time to Ogist. Tries. And this one is going to beat the fielder. The bounce would have undid him there. And that's 4 more runs.
Definitely. He was stepped hard. It bounced in front of the fielder. Short, diminutive guy. Bounce. He was jumping for all his worth. It went over his hands, across the ropes, and into the fence for 4. So Ogis continue to enjoy taking the attack to Nepal.
So here's Lalit once again. And this time he tries down to long off, and the fielder is on the fence there. 1 more to the total.
65 without loss. We're in over number 7.
So the pressure definitely on the Nepalese team at this point in time. They'll want to see the back of one of these very, very soon. And there's Melius just gently tapping it into the onside. And Lalit seemed to be giving Melius a bit of a worry. Still was not to the pitch of that one, Charlo.
Well, he was content to just defend.
So let's see how he responds to this one. Again, pushing out and into that short mid-wicket position. The fielder comes off the fence, and there's 1 more added to the total. Now 67 for no loss. Windward Island Volcanoes in pursuit of 180.
66.
66 without loss. There's Lalit. And this one, in the end, good work there by Irie on the deep mid-wicket boundary. and getting that return in, just one more added to the total. Now on to 67.
So at the end of over number 7, 67, 80, 38 to Melios, 23, 24 to Ogis, and a very good start indeed by the Windward Islands.
Yes, the dressing room at this point in time for the Volcanoes should be pretty comfortable. The batters who are to come, the likes of Kavim Hodge and company, certainly they will be feeling pretty, as I said, comfortable in the dressing room and under no immediate pressure at this point in time. But I believe these two will want to continue and get as close as possible to the 100 to make life even more easier for the batters to come.
Well, definitely. And there's a change in bowling at the far end, the northern end. It's going to be Gulshan.
Looks like Gulshan, yes.
Who is going to pick it up from the northern end, but he'll bowl to the left-handed Ogis, Akeem Ogis.
So Gulshan, right arm, medium fast to Ogis. Then Ogis just guides this one down to that short third man position and immediately off for the single. One more to the total, now 68 for no loss. The Windward Island Volcanoes in this, the 8th over. And Gulshan, there is him on screen. Tall, lanky figure indeed. Inspects a ball and now turn. The number 15 bearing down on his back, races in now. This time to Melios, drives. Lovely shot indeed. It looked easy, but it was a well-taken drive there by Melios.
It was just, he caressed it through the covers and long off had a run, but you do get value for your shots, and it raced across the outfield, and in the end, he just watched it go across the ropes. So 42 now to Melios, really a good captain innings here, and putting his team into a very good position.
Without a doubt, it's 72 without loss, and this the 8th over. And he just caressed that one, but it seemed to just picked up speed as it made its way to the boundary. Gulshan. And this one goes square. They're off for a quick single. And I believe Ogis would have been in.
Yeah, I think he would have been there comfortably. And so good judgment of the single there. He was backing up very quickly. And the total goes on to 73. So good cricket on the part of Windward Island Volcanoes.
So the scoring rate is, I believe, exactly 10 runs or over there about. And Gulshan make his way back to the top of his mark. Ogis hoists this one high. Is he going to beat the fielder? No, he doesn't. And a good take and catch there, keeping his eye on the rope. So there goes Ogis, gone for 25, looking to clear the long off fence, but didn't have enough on it. And slapping the pads as he make his way back, because he knew that there was an opportunity for him to probably press on and make even more for the Windward Islands today. Well,
definitely. I think he just stroked it rather than really putting some power behind it. You saw that on the replay. He just stroked it and he went right a long way. And good judgment on the part of the fielder and taking that just in front of the ropes. And you can see him there just stabling himself as he looks down at the ropes. But so good judgment on the part of the field, and Ogis has to make his way back.
Am I seeing his foot on the rope there?
It's a bit difficult for us from this side to see, but I did a boundary check.
Pretty close there, but Ogis is already back in the pavilion. There's no DSR here at Park Hill. We're just showing that for the benefit of our viewers. And new batsman is out.
Stephen Pascal.
Stefan Pascal. So 73 for the loss of one in this, the 8th over. But indeed a good start here for the Windward Islands as Pascal to take his first knock. And beaten outside the off stump. He just pushed at it. Didn't really and truly move his feet there. Just pushed the bat to ball and went through to wicketkeeper. Total remains on 73 for 1.
And so a good partnership being broken there by Gulshan, as Ogis just stroked it and was caught on the long off boundary. He went for 25, and Pascal getting his first knock.
Yes, first knock for these games thus far. And this one, well, looking to guide it between the wicketkeeper and that gully fielder. They didn't get anything onto it. That's the end of over number 9, and at the end of it, it's 73 for 1. Wooden Islands chasing 180. They are
it's really the end of over number 8.
Number 8. So
just about 9 runs and over.
Well, that's the required rate to take you up to 180. So they're winning a good clip, the Volcanoes, as Lalit will continue from the southern end. As Captain Melius, he's not out on 43. No doubt will want to get to that 50 and then press on for the Wooden Island Volcanoes to ensure that they take victory in this, the second game. Lalit. And Melius pulls one bounce down to long on and takes a single in the process. Total goes on now to 74. Of course, in the first game, when Nepal looked more or less dead and buried, the likes of Irie and Sampal and plucked victory out of the air.
Definitely, and they took the faster bowlers to the cleaners.
Lalit. And this one bounced a bit at the batsman. And Pascal, new to the wicket, caught in a bit of a problem there, but in the end,
I think he's yet to get bat on ball.
There comes Lalit. This one is through the offside. Fielder comes off that extra cover boundary. And finally off the mark is Stefan Pascal, Grenadian player. Known more for his pace rather than handling the bat. So I'm a little surprised that he's in at number 3, but maybe just being given that opportunity. As Lalit comes in now to Melius. And Melius, this one off the edge is going to probably get into the boundary. He was looking to pull this one somewhere over mid-wicket, but it took the outside edge, and luckily for him, it didn't spoon or anything like that, or went to any fielder, and raced down to the third man fence.
It flew down to third man and into the fence for 4. He goes on to 48, the total now on to 79. But I think he was lucky there.
Yeah, without a doubt, yes. Well, sometimes you need a bit of luck.
Yes, Lady Luck has followed him.
So, Lalit, as I said, seemed to be creating a bit of a problem and there you see the return ball striking Pascal. But Lalit comes in now, and this time he's to the pitch a bit and works it into the onside. Fielding to his own bowling, there's Lalit. And Melius settles. Delivery that he rocks back and just forces into the offside. And for a moment I thought he was going to go a little bit more to the left of Irie, but only found Irie in that cover position. That's the end of over number 9, and at the end of it is 79 for 1.
79 for 1. So a good over indeed, I would say, on the part of Lalit, pulling things back a bit. And these two would have to just pace themselves as we look at a number of school children making their way into the pavilion.
And it's very good for the youngsters to come and see cricket at this level. Nepal international team, of course, they're into their second World Cup in the Caribbean, and there you see even some of the young lasses being here at Park Hill. Charging down the wicket, there's Pascal. He gets one, And the field is onto it. They're looking for the second, but that is not going to be. And total goes on now to 80. 80 for 1. And over number
10.
10. And there we see some of the students. I believe they're from the Park Hill Government School.
Just around a few feet, yards, 100 yards away from here.
As Gulshan. Motos in. And this time wrapping the pad there of Melius. And there was no appeal. That was outside the off stump. So no threat there to Melius. Just missed the ball completely.
I think it was a little bit too casual there in terms of the way he approached that. And he has to be very mindful. As a captain, you would want to see your team home.
Well, he's on 48, too short of that half century. As here comes Gulshan. And that's a loud appeal, but I believe the height there might have certainly helped Melius, but a good delivery from Gulshan.
It continues to create a bit of a problem for the batters, and they threw for a leg by.
Interesting to have a look at this replay. That's for the run out. There was absolutely no problem there, but I believe Melius was saved by the height that time around.
Yes, because he was going back, and I think it was above the knee roll, and I think umpire Butler just indicating there the height.
Yes. So Pascal will now take strike. Charges down the wicket and straight into the arms of the fielder there at that whitish long on position. And Nepal came in the second wicket.
A good catch indeed. It was hit very firmly indeed, but straight to the fielder who judged it well. He charged the bowler. He hit it very firmly indeed. And there is the fielder just taking that catch in front of the ropes. Again, very close to the ropes, but I think from our vantage point, I was looking at it, I think he was quite safe.
Quite safe. And we saw that in the replay there as he tosses the ball back. So, Windward Islands losing their second wicket, that of Stefan Pascal. Not normally a top order batter. And I was, asking the question as to why you're bringing Pascal at this point in time. But the dressing room will certainly have the rationale. He's gone nonetheless, and it's 81 for the loss of 2 in this, the 10th over. So, Melius is still there. Kimani Melius. So, Kavem Hodge, a new batter. Batting at number 4 for the Windward Island Volcanoes. Gulshan in, and this one, well played there by Hodge.
I'm looking at the structure. It certainly does not look like Kavem Hodge. Okay, Kavem Hodge was the batter who got out, and Pascal is now at the crease. So he's off the mark on 1, and well played here by Melius. He gets a single, he goes on to 49, and the total now on to 83. But Kavem Hodge was the batter who got out.
Yeah.
I was looking at the number, and it says Kavem Hodge, and Pascal is now making his way out. He's on 1.
So, information being rectified with our scorers. So it's actually Stefan Pascal who's in the middle, and Kavem Hodge, who didn't really look the part.
Definitely, I think when one looks at him from the very first game to this one, really seemed not to have really been middling it, and in the end perished at a deep mid-wicket position.
So 83 for the loss of 2. The Windward Island Volcanoes, after some 10 overs, halfway mark, 180 required. And there's a bowling change at the southern end. It looks as if it's going to be Bertel.
Yes, Bertel is going to pick it up.
This time he'll be bowling to Melius, who's on 49. And Melius gets that half century, just caresses it down to backward point. Fielder comes around, picked up one more to the total. That's 50 to Melius as he raises his bat. And certainly getting a good applause from this appreciative crowd here at Park Hill. Windward Islands now on to 84 for the loss of 2 wickets in this, the 11th over. And now Stefan Pascal is going to take strike. So here comes Bertel. Into Pascal. Pascal drives it into the offside. Can only find Irie, who's marshalling in that cover region. So that is true.
So Melius 50 coming off 36 deliveries, 7 fours and 2 sixes.
Good going there by the Windward Island Volcanoes captain. 50 off 36. As this one is well fielded there by Bertel. And he's rubbing that left knee of his, would have been struck in the knee. And even more so as he dove to his left, you can see the remains of the dust from the pitch on his clothing.
Well, he's dusting himself off. But it was a very good stop on the part of Bertel there.
Well done. Comes in now, and this time worked off the pad. Fielder comes in on mid-wicket, and one more, total now on to 85 for the loss of 2. So it's important that these two in Melius, as we look at this replay once again, there's Bertel coming off with a good save, and I think he would have probably struck his knee into the pitch. That's primarily what happened a while ago. He's much better now, comes in now to bowl to Melius, and Melius hits this one high.
Someone is circling underneath
the long off fielder. He does take the catch. So there goes the prize scalp of Melius just after completing his 50. Looking to go over long off, didn't make it this time. Catch taken, Windward Islands 85 for 3.
Well, the top edge, and I was just going to make the point that Nepal just pulling things back a bit, because the Windward Island Volcanoes, they were going at a pretty good clip. And that's the problem here. You lost a few wickets can really put you under pressure. And I think Nepal just about pulling things back here, as we can see Descartes making his way out.
And yet another good catch and on the ropes.
Right on the ropes.
The 3 dismissals have all been on the ropes.
Very close to the ropes as well.
Very, very close to the ropes. And on all occasions, the fielders doing some good work.
Good judgment on the part of the fielders.
So they've been good at the catching. A little scrappy in the outfield. But at 85 for 3, Nepal still very much in the hunt here today at the Park Hill playing field in this practice game, all in preparation for Cricket World Cup 2024. That's the T20 Cricket World Cup being held in the Caribbean and the United States. And of course, the final of these practice games will take place on Saturday. We'll come back here at the Park Hill playing field. After that, Nepal will depart St. Vincent and they'll head on to Texas, USA. Where I understand they'll be having some practice sessions also. We'll be taking on a Houston 11. And it'll be interesting to see cricket in those parts in Texas.
Oh, definitely. I think they are looking forward for it.
More accustomed to New York and Florida, Fort Lauderdale. But Texas, that's pretty interesting.
Very much so. Had the opportunity of passing through Texas once. Right. So cricket really spreading its wings in a number of areas. I think there would be cricket in Long Island.
Yes.
During the World Cup.
Yes.
Those are areas that you're not known to hear a lot of.
Here comes Bertel, all dusted, but he's picked up the scalp of Melius, and this time Descartes is back. Ball is quickly back into the gloves of the keeper, but couldn't avoid that single. The end of over number 11, and the end of a very, very good over there from Bertel.
And a successful over as well.
Yes.
So it's 85, so the run rate dropping, and they would expect, and the Windward Islands would expect a few batters to come in and try to push things along. Descartes, he can hit the ball very far, strong lad, and he's off the mark, so just wait to see. 86 for 3 at the end of over number 11, and with Descartes on 1, Pascal, they would want a partnership between these two and really push the pressure back on Nepal, because Nepal just about pushing the pressure onto the Windward Island batters. So he's airy from the northern end.
Driven into the offside, and Padel not being able to get around in time. One more added to the total. It's now up to 87 for the loss of 3. That's 87 for 3. Windward Island Volcanoes taking a target. Fielder is off the boundary, and just one more resulting. So they're certainly rotating the strike, the Windward Island Volcanoes, picking up the singles, but having lost those 2 quick wickets, we certainly want to consolidate here and press on outside the off stump and into that point position. But there's Bertel picking it up, and no run resulting. Good outfield cricket there from Bertel. Avery now to...
Where are you going?
Well, Pascal was just simply there looking at Descartes like, where are you hustling to? Got back in time nonetheless. Airy. And that's the reverse sweep. And there's Bertel diving neatly to his right there. Didn't pick up cleanly, but did enough to avoid the ball passing him and adding even more. They got a single in the process. It's now 89 for the loss of 3.
I certainly have saved the boundary.
Yes. So Stefan Pascal. This one is bold. And a really awful looking shot there from Pascal. And he looks disappointed, but I would have been disappointed with a shot like that. It really and truly was agricultural, as we said, and losing his stumps in the process. The Windward Islands now 89 for 4.
Well, I think a poor shot on the part of Pascal, because you must recognize that Airy has not been flighting the balls.
No shape whatsoever.
He's pushing it through, so it would hustle you. It's easier to play him on the front foot. There he was looking for a pull shot, and that was through him. The bounce has also done him, because he was looking for a more bounce, but that one kept a little low, and it was through him before he completed the shot.
So Stefan Pascal back to the pavilion, and the new batter is Dylan Douglas, who had a good first game, scored 50 for the Windward Island Volcanoes in that losing cause, posted 196 in that game, and a lot will be expected of Douglas, along with Descartes, who also would have supported Douglas in that opening game.
And Dylan Douglas, a very talented individual indeed. Good batter, good all-round player. He keeps wicket. He also bowls off spin. Very good in the field as well. So very, very talented, very grounded cricketer. And one would hope, for the sake of Windward Island Volcanoes, that he comes good again.
Well, Bertel is going to continue. And this is the 13th over. So
Nepal just about tightening the screws.
Certainly. At one time, the Windward Islands were just over 10 runs per over as Bertel comes in to Descartes outside the off stump, and left alone having a look at the umpire as if it was wide, but umpire not interested. Considered to be a legal delivery. And Bertel tossing the ball from hand to hand. Moves in now to Descartes with that attempted reverse sweep. And missed by the wicketkeeper. I believe this is going to be a bye. Let's see. Well, apparently would have gotten some bat
Seemed
on
to have got some bat on it.
So not the area that he would have wanted that delivery to go. But getting a run in the process. And that's Descartes going on to 3. It's now 90 for the loss of 4. Bertel. With his leg breaks, comes in now. And this one knocked around the corner there by Douglas. Looked a little tentative, but got enough bat onto the ball. And in the process, a single getting off the mark. He's on to 1.
So he's off that dreaded 0. And Descartes, the left-hander, comes back into strike. So left-hand, right-hand combination.
Fairly long run up here for Bertel. Comes in now to Descartes. This one hits into the arms of that's
Rohit Padel, the captain.
Yes.
Out too long on.
Good catch there from the Nepalese captain. And 91 for 5. Descartes, certainly who would have had a lot to offer to the Windward Island Volcanoes going back to the pavilion. Life might be a little bit more difficult going forward from here, Charlo.
Well, certainly, I think this will be very, very difficult. It looks like Ned who is making a result, but good running catch there by the captain. And took it. Their catching have been good, but their outground feeling has really, in some areas, left a lot to be desired.
So that's Rohit Padel, Nepalese captain, leading from the front as far as that catch was concerned. He's had some scrappy moments in the outfield. But as you said, Charlo, they've taken every opportunity that they've come their way in terms of catches in the Nepal team.
Definitely. And 4 of the batters have all been caught on the boundary. Yes. Except for Pascal, who was bold, playing a really atrocious shot.
Certainly. So, Darren Ned, a new batter. And Bertel, who's picked up 2 wickets, will continue from the southern end. Came good at the bat in that first game. Almost single-handedly took the Nepal team home. Comes in now to bowl to Ned, and Ned is back. Just forces it into the offside. There's absolutely no run available.
But you
there.
can see the buoyancy in terms of the Nepalese in the field.
Yes.
That's what success does.
Without a doubt. As Bertel with his leg breaks, coming out the bowl to Ned. And Ned drives down to long on, and that's long off, sorry. That's a well taken shot. 4 good runs there off the bat of Ned.
Oh, definitely a beautiful shot by Ned. But looking at Bertel, he reminds me so much of Rashid Khan. The leg spinner.
Yes. You're so correct, Charlo.
That was tossed up, and Ned was launched into it and drove it sweetly through between extra cover and mid-off. And Captain Padel on did mid-off boundary, just watched it go across the ropes.
And absolutely no chance there. So 95 for the loss of 5. That's the Volcanoes after 13 overs. And these 2 in the middle in Ned and Douglas. Ned has already shown that he has the ability, he has the class. And we know what Dylan Douglas can do. So all is not lost here for this Windward Islands team.
So Lalit comes back into the attack.
Switching ends once again. Back to the northern end, the mountainous end, the hillside end here at the Park Hill playing field. Sun out in all its glory here this afternoon. But there's still that nice cooling breeze that's coming into our commentary position. Lalit. And this one, Douglas just works it calmly into the offside. The off for a quick single.
Comfortably taken.
Yes, Irie came around very quickly indeed. And picked up quickly had the ball back into the gloves of his wicketkeeper, but couldn't avoid that run. 96 for 5. So Lalit it is to continue. And now asking for the fielder just to come around a bit into that deep cover boundary. It's time to bowl to Ned. And Ned showing some respect there. Just working it back up along the pitch. Defensive mood. So Lalit will be happy with that. So to Captain Podell and the rest of this Nepalese team. As coming once again to bowl to Ned. And Ned gets one that jumped at him off of the pitch, but he was on top of it and just pushed it into the offside. One more to the total.
Soft hands and a really comfortable single taken by these two. Dylan Douglas, who have been rather quiet, and comes in to strike.
So Douglas in that 49 on his back. To this delivery, worked it into the head-on area. Fielder comes off the long-on fence, and just one more added. So they're rotating the strikes. They're doing it in singles, but in the 14th over, there's that need for that occasional boundary.
You need some boundaries.
So Nepal will be comfortable with this type of batting, and there's Douglas bowled.
In fact, it was Ned looking to white that over wide long on. Lost his stumps. Our stump knocked back in the process, so Windwards sink further into trouble.
98 for 6, and this the 14th over. And Ned, as we have a look at the replay, head in the air and completely bowled there. So he goes back to the pavilion. And
As if Hooper makes his way out.
so Hooper, as we know,
Can bat.
no rabbit with the bat. Yes.
Can bat. Can hit the ball a long way as well.
So there we see Ned not getting to the pitch of that one. Preconceived shot, and that's the whole matter, the pressure, not getting the boundaries. And Ned finding it necessary or wanting to certainly get over the ropes or push the scoring on, giving his wicket away.
That's what pressure does. Pushed you in that mood to want to do something, to push it on, and here it is. He did something rash and paid the penalty.
So Asif Hooper now will settle. Lalit is in. And back and across and just works it into the onside. The bowler fielding to his own bowling. And that's the end of over number 14.
99.
With just 6 more overs to go and 81 to get. 36 deliveries and 81 runs to get.
It's not impossible.
Yeah, but
we really have to see some serious ball beating to get there.
so those are the two batters in the middle. Asif Hooper and Dylan Douglas, who have lost his helmet. Both batsmen, as a matter of fact, without helmet. As it's been slow bowling here from the Nepalese team. Bertel will continue from the southern end.
He's enjoying his job.
Yeah, you can see it on his face. He's really enjoying his time out there. Tossing ball from hand to hand. And as Asif Hooper just marking his guard. A little bit of cleaning there on the pitch area. And they now settle. As Bertel, opening batter, doing some bowling. Hooper down the wicket, sweeps, and out caught. Good catch there by Airy.
Their catching has been outstanding.
So Asif Hooper being caught on the mid-wicket fence at 99 for 7. The writing appears to be on the wall for this Windward Island team. Straight into the arms there of Airy, making absolutely no mistake. And Nepal claiming their 7th wicket. The Volcanoes under pressure.
Definitely, and Larry Edwards makes his way out. but their catching really have been outstanding.
Well, it's one of the things that even during the break, we saw them doing a lot of practicing with regards to the catching, and certainly this paid off. And every single opportunity being presented here today off the bat of the Volcanoes player, as far as catches are concerned, being taken by this Nepal team. So 99 for 7.
So one left-hander replacing the other, Larry Edwards.
So Edwards, this time with a cap, will face to Bertel. And pushes into the offside, and again you see that misfield. That's an area that they certainly have to work with on this Nepal team.
Fortunately, it didn't go far. Didn't give away an extra run, but their ground feeling has been very poor.
Bertel. Edwards tucks it into that mid-wicket position, short mid-wicket. And the two fielders converging on it, and Lalit and Irie winning the run, or the race, I should say, Irie.
Exuberant Irie.
So, but that will continue as a 100 is on the board for the Volcanoes, but they need another 80 to get victory here today. Only 3 wickets in hand. And that's Dylan Douglas working it off his legs for one more. And 101 now for the loss of 7. So from a stage of 70 without loss to 101 for 7.
Some 31 runs.
Yeah, not good work there from the Wooden Island team. As Bertel now will come in to bowl to Larry Edward, and Edward looking to just work this one somewhere between that point and short third man position and getting the batter onto the ball and into the gloves there of the keeper. Still 101 for 7. Bertel. And this one is driven to that mid-on position, and well, had he struck the stump there, it might have very well been interesting scenario for the
certainly
Windwards.
it would have been. And Edwards, he goes on to 102, so some 78 runs still needed.
But 5 overs to go. So
30, 78 from 30.
not a situation where you
So you need more than 2 runs and over.
right.
So it's going to be a big axe, particularly when you have the lower order.
Well, it's exactly 14 runs per over.
With Douglas being the main batter, but he's at the non-striker's end.
Well, it's 78, sorry, it's more than 14 runs per over, Charlo.
14 point. Try to do the math.
15.6 runs per over. So it's a tall order for this Wooden Islands team, as we see there's a bit of a delay. Both batters having a look at the players' pavilion, and helmet is now being brought out, as it's going to be Gulshan being reintroduced into the attack. So with the pace of Gulshan, the batters, of course, making sure that they have that protective headgear in their helmets. And there we see, just having a look at the wonderful surroundings here at Park Hill. Lone player all the way out in that deep position. That's Sumpal. But Gulshan is going to continue with the bowling here for the Nepal team. Windwards gets it off. And again, that was close.
Had that struck, he certainly would have been making his way back to the pavilion. But there's urgency on the part of Douglas to get the strike.
We noticed that. Definite urgency. And he's a player who can certainly turn it around for the Winter Island Volcanoes.
Certainly something that the crowd would enjoy at this particular moment, if Douglas can really to get into his strides and take the bowlers on.
And there he goes. High, hard, that's into the hills, that's 6 runs. Wonderful shot off the bat.
Well, I just mentioned it. I just mentioned it and the crowd erupted.
So, Dylan Douglas showing his intention. We're into the 16th over, 4 more after this. And that was literally climbing the mountain.
Well, definitely, and there must be a replacement ball because you're not going to get there.
There's no way you're going to retrieve the ball out of there. As you have a look at that replay, high and hard over long on and into the bushed area, that hilly bushed area here at Park Hill. There's no way you're going to find that ball, as we see already in the middle. The umpire receiving the reserve ball, that's umpire Butler. Just having a look at it and tosses it on now to Gulshan.
So we see Gulshan just throwing it to his captain. Captain had a look at it, he's satisfied and gives it back to Gulshan. So he will have to continue.
Gulshan breaks into his stride now. The ball to Douglas again. And this time, in defense, pushes it back up along the onside, equal to his own bowling. There's Gulshan. And some good fielding on the leg side. Total remains at 109 for 7. So, a lot depends on Douglas here for the Winter Island Volcanoes. .71 runs required as Gulshan comes in now. And this one, deft touch off the bat. They threw for 1. And, well, that should not have been a second. And, well, Douglas decided to stay in his ground. And just 1 wide, it's now 110 for 7.
But you see, it's good field placing on the part of the captain Padu. Padel, he had the third man right in place, so it was neatly played by Douglas, but it was only kept to a single.
That's Edwards punching into the onside, and we'll pick up another single. The Volcanoes.
Lord Nelson,
yes.
1-1-1.
111. Skipping a hop.
Famous David Shepherd.
Yes.
Sheppy.
We do remember him. 111 for 7. As Gulshan comes in now to bowl, this time to Dylan Douglas, and Douglas is bowled.
Slow delivery. Deceived. And I think that's the writing on the wall for the Windwards.
Well, Nelson had his say.
Very much so. And they see Otney Lewis making his way out. There's no slouch with the bat, really. But there was Douglas, deceived there by this slow delivery.
Yes, we just threw the shot and we haven't even, there you go, way through the shot before the delivery made its way in. And leg stump knocked back. It's 111 for 8. The Volcanoes certainly in some huge problems here this afternoon at the Park Hill playing field.
Middle stump knocked back. So some 16 overs completed. 111 now for 8. And
so Otney Lewis, the new batter, in, and with just 4 overs to go, some 24 deliveries, 79 runs required, 2 wickets in hand. It's a mountain to climb here this afternoon for the Windward Island Volcanoes in this practice game. 111 for 8. As change in bowling from the southern end, as Bertel would have finished his spell. This one worked nicely down to fine leg, and Healer gets around, picking it up. So 1 more to the total there for the Windward Island Volcanoes.
is it Bohara?
It is Bohara, who's bowling from the southern end. So Otney Lewis will have his first strike here this afternoon. Can he do the unthinkable for the Windward Islands? As Bohara moves in. And 1 up in the block hole, and straight to that short third man position, no run resulting.
Had to come very hard down on that one. He flew down to that short third man.
Well, third man is now being pushed right back on the fence here by Captain Rohit Padel. And Bohara sensing victory here for Nepal. Comes in now into this delivery. Lewis drives down to long on, and just 1 more added to the total. So Nepal sitting quite comfortable. And certainly the Volcanoes, in terms of the shot selection, that's where they would have faltered.
Definitely.
Bohara to continue from the southern end. Bowling to Larry Edwards, and Edwards
He's slapping that.
but
Tennis style.
again is just that single.
Nepal would not be hurt by these singles. They're content to just give away the singles. The boundaries are not coming.
O'Hara comes in yet again to bowl to Otney Lewis. Lewis gets one right up. And
smart bowling on the part of Bohara.
yes. So that's the end of over number 17. And at the end of it, 114 for the loss of 8. Screws are definitely on here for the Wooden Island Volcanoes.
66 needed off 18.
That's difficult to wiggle your way out, Shallow.
Wow. And particularly when you are in the lower half of the batting lineup.
Certainly.
So, Lewis. Like Sampal, who is going to pick it up from the northern end. He'll be bowling to Larry Edwards. 114 for 8. 18 deliveries, legal deliveries remaining. Some 66 runs needed. And certainly going to be a big axe. Over 20 runs and over. Sampal. Edwards looking to pull that out to square leg. Not timing it well. He gets a single. The total goes on to 115. And Edwards with that, he goes on to 7. Lewis and 1 comes into strike. 115 for 8. And Nepal sensing victory here at Park Hill in the second practice game. They won the first by some 4 wickets. And when it all looks dead and buried, Airy and Sampal really pulled them out of the hole and saw them home to victory. Sampal to Lewis. And he's fanning at that as if switching at a fly. Misses and taken cleanly by the keeper.
Well, it's ironic you mentioned Sampal and Airy pulling Nepal out of the hole. Well, the depths of the Wooded Islands at this point in time, Edwards and Lewis certainly will find it very, very difficult to get their way.
Definitely.
Out of the mire that they're in at this point in time.
So, Lewis, Larry Edwards called him down, had a word with him. The tall right-hander now settles. And he's slipping that high and hard. That's gone. Clearing the thing that's landed somewhere on one of the park buses.
Well,
at that northern end. Hope that there are no broken glasses.
Let's to hope such is not the case. And a big blow off the bat there of Otney Lewis. And just awaiting the return of the ball. It's 121 for 8. But that was really a lusty blow there from Lewis.
Just not getting into the slot. And I know that he can bat. I've seen him at the local VPL. And Sampal would want to make amends. Lewis tucks at that. This would beat the fine leg into the fence. 4 runs. Let's wait. Is there a signal from umpire? Yes, a leg by signal now by umpire Butler. And the total goes on to 125. Sampal losing his radar there. And Lewis looking to glance that, brushing his pad in the process, beating the keeper and down to the fence for 4.
Well, the boundaries will do it for the Wooden Island Volcanoes. They'll keep it up. They need to keep it up, I should say.
Yes, bringing a bit of excitement to the crowd here at Park Hill. Otney Lewis, Aka Geese. You can hear the words of encouragement calling out to Geese to do something. And he swings and misses. And a wild swing, luckily for him.
Well, it's quite clear. He's just decided to throw the kitchen sink at everything. Que sera, what will be, will be.
Yes. If I connect, I connect. And Sampal, rather businesslike, gets back to his mark very quickly. Quite
a diminutive bowler he is. To Lewis.
That's in the air. Someone was circling underneath it. This could be dangerous. Oh, brilliantly taken.
That's Anil, and despite the fact that it looks like, is that Rohit?
I see Anil was coming in from the backward point. The other fielder, he was running back. Anil was in the better position, but really took the catch. I'm sure he would have seen the fielder in his eye line. And I was rather fearful that a collision could have been serious.
Well, taken safely there in the end. No damage. The only damage is to the Windward Island Volcanoes as they sink even further. And they're facing down the barrel of defeat here this afternoon.
So, 125 for 9. There it is. Let's look at it. So Redhead joins Larry Edwards. Final pair at the crease. Can we get some magic?
Well, there's 65 runs needed. There's some 13 deliveries remaining. It's almost at what? Almost. Oh, it's a mountain to climb. I was trying to do some maths mentally there. It's indeed a mountain to climb.
55 needed off 12. You have to deal with sixes.
Certainly. This one is worked on to the onside, offside. There by Edward. So they held up momentarily, just a change of bat there on the part of Larry Edward. So Edward's getting a new bat. But that brings some magic too.
Well, I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it does. But we are in the final moments. Edward, he's on 7. Nicholas Redhead. Non-striker, he's yet to face a delivery.
So Bahara to continue. To Larry Edward. Edward gets one of the pulls around. And in the end, not so much good work. That's 4 runs.
Well, I think he was rather casual getting around. And in the end, he just bubbled past it, but into the fence for 4. So 129 now for 9. 51 still needed.
Of 11 deliveries. So boundaries are needed here for the Wooden Islands with the last wicket pair of Edward and Redhead. O'Hara. This one is wrapped him on the pad, but he's a fair distance down the pitch there.
And Redhead seemed to have no interest in at all in getting down to the striker's end.
Well,
maybe been much better to not out and not
than to be out and not. As Bahara comes in once again. This one he pulls. Lovely shot. A good piece of fielding down there by Rohit Padel, the captain. And now Redhead will certainly have his chance to face.
It was rather, I think Edwards was looking for 2, but that would have been suicidal. And Redhead had none of it.
So,
Long-range conversation between the two.
O'Hara now taking his first strike here, Redhead, Nicholas Redhead. And this one is wrapped on the pad. Up goes that dreaded finger. And that's victory for Nepal here this afternoon.
Winning by some 49 runs.
Big victory indeed. And certainly a clinical win on their part.
Definitely, I think they came